Kenya has been in Somalia for the last decade, playing its role as neighbor and brother. One of the key missions has been fighting off the Al-Shabaab terror group. Soldiers who have fought gallantly have paid steep prices, some the highest price, their lives. Those who have lived to tell their tales say it has not been easy. Corporal Daniel Nderitu is one of these. He lives with the scars, which he considers marks of honor as he takes on each day with the hope and faith that the future is bright. Leila Mohammed brings us the story of blindness in service, studying Braille and psychology, and his new mission under the Kenya Army Welfare Program.
Corporal Daniel Nderitu fidgets with his stick, one that has become a key part of his life and without which he would need a guide by his side to successfully move around. For a few years after enlisting, he was part of the transport battalion that moves the army into the front lines, or when they are needed by the Kenya Defence Forces to move personnel and machinery to various bases across the country. But before June 2017, he was able to do his duty for the Kenya Army undeterred.
Tumekuwa defense tukiangalia mbele kuangalia kulinda kambi. Ndio magaidi wakakuja kutuvamia.
A single shot at the crew guarding the perimeter of the base in Bardere, Somalia, began an attack on the facility, leaving one of his colleagues dead, another in critical condition.
Hawakuwa na target sisi, walikuwa tu bado waingie kwa kambi. Sasa sijui na kama ni Mungu juu shetani ilikuja mbele ya daki yetu pap. Bila buruki nilikuwa nayo ikatakatwa pieces.
And himself with fragments of an 81mm mortar bomb.
Hata fragments ziko kwa nyumba nilisikuja na fragments ziko nazo kwa nyumba. Niligiria hapa. Hii ni operation ilifanywa sasa zitolewe.
Nderitu says that in a split second he became disoriented and even violent towards his colleagues.
Sababu wanichukua, wameniweka kwa gari yao, wamenibeba. Yaani akili imenibi hivyo. Kumbe ni watu wetu wakuja kunipea first aid, kunirescue, wanipeleke first aid nikatibiwe kidogo. So I was very violent hapo. Hata madriver wenyewe walikuwa wanibeba hapo. Nilikuwa na nyonga wao kabisa, napiga mpaka magusi. Nilikuwa nashikwa na wanaume watano wa spisi wake toboa.
Other than faith that he had been given a second shot at life, he cannot recollect much of what happened then, only waking up from a coma at the Defence Memorial Hospital to a new reality of life in the dark.
Laisi maisha ya upovu si rahisi, lakini supportive peoples iko sawa. Unaona tu ni kama kawaida. Sasa unasema ishaku itakuaje?
With therapy at the hospital and back at the Kahawa garrison where he was based, life had to begin anew for him and his young family.
Ile kitu tunaweza wasaidia nayo ni maombi tu na kuachia Mungu. Juu hata tukiwa huku tunakaa tukiwa na stress, tunafikiria wakawaje, mtu atarudi ama hatarudi.
For his wife, having him back with them is a blessing, even as he walks life journey in the dark.
Nilikuwa memorial. Nilikuwa nashindwa mpaka mdomo iko wapi. So kuna my brother mmoja ile first born yetu, nikimkosa lunch ama sapa, ile chakula cha ikae. Mpaka nikakuwa na askari mwingine hapo kaniambia sasa wewe uko na ujinga hata wewe sasa. Anakazia wewe kile huyu askari chakula kwa bow. Wacha ike mdomo hapo na kijiko. Yaani hapa tu. Nikazoea kukula.
He has had to learn to be self-sufficient. He even fixes himself a plate when his wife is not home. While on the home front he has secured his base well, the Kenya Army took him back to school to learn Braille to equip him on his new journey.
The only problem he has now is only the blindness, otherwise he's okay.
He hopes that the new skills he has been acquiring and honing will enable him to become even more self-sufficient in the workplace. His supervisors at the Kenya Army say that his spirit to see the glass as half full and his brothers in arms giving him hope to move on from trauma is part and parcel of a collective move to ensure that every man moves in tandem with the unit and no one is left behind.
Sasa Somalia tulikuwa naishi hivi kibrother, ukienda sio askari ukienda kwa vita, upigwe risasi ukufe, hatuwezi kuacha. Tutapigana na wewe kwa mgongo. Hapa. Napiga risasi huko kwa mgongo tu. Mpaka dakika ya mwisho.
We are using him now as also he mitigates and he gives a testimony to the colleagues who are there.
With the troops actively engaging in the front line in the last decade, many have fought the battle in the theatre of war, some of whom come home to face a new battle in the mind.
There is the initial post-trauma, counseling, and when they come from the field, like now when they finish their mission, some of them may not show signs. They are healthy, but they don't show those signs. But later on, they show the signs of being stressed. So we have a welfare center.
I also want to assure you of confidentiality, that everything you say in this counseling room will remain in this room unless it is of harm to yourself or to any other person.
Among his new orders and duties is spending time with his colleagues at the welfare center, giving a listening ear, which many say is key in helping one to settle the unsettling matters beneath their chests. In a similar situation, like in this reenactment, the corporal guides those who are preparing to leave home for a year's tour of duty across the border.
Kazi wewe ukitumwa kazi hapana sema dito alipotea mara sita Somalia. Wewe ngangana na vita. Uliambiwa hii kazi yetu ni kazi ya vita.
While he gets a chance to give counseling to those who are in need, he says that this could be a full-time duty in the future once he gets the requisite papers.
Corporal Daniel Nderitu has lost his ability to see and drive a vehicle, something that he has been in love with ever since he was a boy. But even in the darkness, he sees himself firmly on the driver's seat of his life. And as he takes the journey along the next step in life, he says he wants to inspire more soldiers just like himself who find themselves in trouble on the front line, and tell them despite the challenges, they can still work in service for God, self, and country, and be able to do good despite the bleakness that life sometimes brings. Lena Mohammed, NTV, at the Kahawa Garrison in Nairobi County.